pretty standard work day. Couple of meetings. One was cancelled. In 2021, there was an indie horror game called From the Darkness that was released. Fast forward a couple of years, and the same developer came out with a new indie horror game called 9 Child Street. Now, From the Darkness is one of my favourite all-time walking simulator horror games, so imagine how excited I was to try a game made from the same developer a couple of years later. The premise of this new game is fairly basic, where you play as a 9-year-old child who lives across the street from a seemingly abandoned house and discovers a light coming on at that house, so decides to one night slip out of his home and go exploring on his own in the middle of the night. Now, I don't care if you're Batman's son, but there is no 9-year-old child brave enough to escape his parents' house and go wandering around a seemingly abandoned house late at night. This just does not happen. Personal gripe aside, I decided that this game could be quite fun, so I was excited to try it out. And ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and relax and enjoy our review on 9 Child's Street. What's going on? What's going on? Stop! Stop this! Stop! After the game's prologue, you find yourselves in the shoes of the bravest 9-year-old child on the planet. You arm yourself with your trusty red cap, and you break out of your bedroom window and go across the street to this abandoned house and run your own little investigation. After you manage to get inside the house, you'll soon discover that you want to leave almost immediately after some strange goings-on happen around you, such as the lighting failures, or the weird noises coming around you, the strange smell from beyond a door, and a creepy message left for you on a computer screen. Only to find out that once you've left the house, you'll want to go back inside it because somehow you've managed to drop your red cap, and you cannot go home without it. It's from this moment where the real meat and potatoes of the game lies, because you'll now find yourself stuck inside the house with no way to escape, and will have to overcome certain obstacles and solve puzzles in order to once again return to your home. And along the way, you'll of course be uncovering loads of dark secrets about this house. Just like in most walking simulator horrors, it's pretty dark and you'll have a torchlight so that you can see what's going on in front of you, but you can't see a lot more around you without it on. You'll have to use it as you walk all the way around the house and also outside of the house in certain areas of the game, which adds to the level of tension the game is trying to sell to you the whole way through the hour-long experience. The developer did a good job on how the game looks and feels. It gives you the sense of you don't want to be there really, really well, and also it feels really great using a keyboard and mouse. I had no problems playing it at all. There was no bugs or didn't run into any kind of things like that. The setting of the house and its surroundings wasn't too big that I was left completely puzzled as to where to go. But also the game does not hold your hand. You do have to do a fair few puzzles here and uncover some secrets and stuff, but some of these walking simulator games literally hold your hand and give you lists and tell you where to go next and what to do. This game does not do that. There are a couple of clues later on through the game, which I'll get to in a minute, as to where you have to go, but it definitely does not hold your hand, so you have to figure things out yourself. And there was a moment where I was pretty stuck for a little while and had to rely on my chat actually helping me through one of the periods. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have got through it so soon. Where the developer did a really great job is actually the audio, from the weird scratchings coming from the other room, to the knockings on the wall, to the intense level of jump scare noises that come out. They did a great job with the audio, and it really adds to that intense feeling that you get all the way around the house. So good job on the audio. Probably is the best thing about the game when it comes to horror games. You know, you need to wear your headphones to make sure it's up loud enough. But audio on the whole for a horror game plays a massively important role, and it's done really, really well in this game. So that's a really, really great thing to see, or hear, I suppose. Also, another positive, the game does not force so many jump scares down your throat like a lot of these kind of games do these days. It's not really about that at all. There are jump scares here for sure, but the main crux of this game is to intensify fear and inflict that within the player, and it does a great job doing that. What on God's earth is going on? You will not be jumping out your skin every 10 seconds, but the atmosphere of this game is going to be inflicting a whole load of fear with its suspense around every single corner. And that's a really, really great thing, actually, because it tells more of a story when it does that and doesn't just try to cheaply scare the player all the time around every single corner. That being said, be warned, there are jump scares here. It wouldn't be a horror game if there weren't, but it's more about that atmosphere, and it's more about inflicting that fear within the player and giving them a sense that they are being watched wherever they go, and giving them the sense of the unknown as to what's coming up. So be warned of that. The main hook of this game in terms of the puzzles is that you have to find certain lockets that have letters on the front of them, and then you have to put them up against this door, and once you get enough of them, you unlock all the chains that are chaining this door, which is the way out, and freedom, and back to your house and stuff like that. So you are having to escape this house, is the main gameplay loop, and you will have to find loads of these lockets, as I said, to try and escape. And sometimes there will be like blocked passageways or doors that won't open, and you can only go certain directions and certain ways in the house. And once you overcome some obstacles and do some puzzles, you'll be then able to get through those areas again to try and find these lockets. There was a part of the game where you actually speak to another character in the house, which I haven't seen that very often recently, actually interacting with many other characters in these games. It's usually just yourself and yourself alone. But you have to interact with this character without giving too much away. You then get like some sort of security footage on like a phone or camera from them, and that gives you a clue as to where you have to go next to find one of these lockets. I was a little bit stumped on where to go when I found that part. We got there in the end. Also, on the whole, the game ran pretty well on my computer. I don't have the best PC, but I certainly don't have the worst. But it ran pretty well, and I didn't go to bed that night having nightmares, so that is a win-win for me. Not to say that the game isn't scary. I do find scary games scary quite a lot, to be honest with you. But yeah, I wasn't overly scared of this game. But there were some moments where I thought, you know, there's something's going to happen. It just gives you that feeling that something is coming all the time, which is what it was supposed to do, is what it set out to do, I imagine, because of how, you know, it's all about the atmosphere, and it's all about, you know, the sense of fear, inflicting that within the player. And I did feel that throughout the game, so I think that's job done from the developer, so good job there. And although it's only about an hour, you know, for just under £6 on Steam at the time of recording this, you can't really complain. You know, you get your money's worth, certainly, with a game like this. There are plenty of them out there, but this one's worth a try as well, if you ask me. Hello. Fine. It was the perfect stream game for me, really, because I streamed it on a horror night, and it was ideal for that reason, really. I understand that not everyone's into these kind of games, and it might be a bit short for some people, but if this is your sort of thing, hopefully this video has helped you decide if you want to try it yourselves. If you like this video, I really appreciate if you give us a like and subscribe. And with that said, I'll just sign off by saying thank you very much indeed for watching this video, and I'll see you all again next time.